Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Good afternoon and welcome to Love and Relationship. My name is Ndon Indon. Today we will be speaking about another exciting topic, something pertaining to singles. And, we will have in the studio with us in a few moments some singles who will be sharing this topic with us. Today, I will be speaking about single but content. Some people don't believe that it's possible to be single and then still be contented. Well, to my understanding, contentment is not just being satisfied with what you have now or who you are at the moment. I think contentment is, appreciating what you have now or who you are now, where you are now, and then seeing ways of growing from where you are to where you ought to be. Because a lot of times, if you don't appreciate where you are, it's difficult to get to where you ought to be. For every level of life, there is a purpose. I believe that our life is we called to live a purposeful life. Every one of us should live purposefully. In other words, while you're single, there is a purpose for it. And if you are contented, you can be able to see the purpose of being single and achieve that purpose until you get married. I'm telling you, there's some married couples out there who wish they're still single in some way because they did not fully enjoy their singleness. And so I want you to know, as a single person, you still can enjoy your life, you still can be contented. For me, contentment as a single person should be something that every single person possesses. Because, if you are not contented, you will be desperate and you can get married to the wrong person. So, contentment is a necessary thing in a general term for a single person. And I will be speaking about, a kind of four groups of, singleness where, a lot of people say, I'm single and I don't want to get married. And some people say, I'm single and I'm searching, or some people say I'm still thinking about it, you know. So I had an event somewhere, and a topic we were talking about celibacy. You know, people who are single and they don't really want to get married. And then I came up with four groups of people, of single people, who may not really want to get married, or who may think that they are not meant to get married. So the first three are really the ones I will call celibates, but the last one are not really people I will call celibate. So I don't know, you just listen and see which group you fall into. I got this wisdom from the Bible in Matthew 19, verse 3 to 12, where Jesus was speaking about, divorce and marriage. And then his disciples said to him, if you say we should not divorce, that means it's difficult for people to get married. So he said to them, it is not everyone who can receive this. They were trying to say we can. That means we can stay unmarried. But he said to them, it's not everyone who can stay unmarried. There are different groups of people, and he spoke about the first group of people. He said these are people that are not meant to marry because they were born not to marry. It is a gift from God. I believe that people like Jesus, John the Baptist, Elijah, they fall into this group. And the second group of people he spoke about were people who are celibate because of situations, or people have met them celibate. It may not have been their desire, but they found themselves in the position where they are, and they cannot marry, maybe due to work or due to what they're involved in, So some people in this group can include people who have been in relationship before, some of whom, due to the state of their previous relationships, have decided that marriage is not for them. And, I have example here of a woman called Anna in the Bible in Luke 2:37. She was married for many years. I think she was just married for 7 years, and then she decided to be a widow till 84 years. It was her decision. and people like Elisha and all that, and some other people who were part of this group. And there is a third group. These are people who desire to be celibate or to be single because of the calling of God upon their lives. They do not desire to marry. It's their personal choice. It's not like some may not have been born to be single, but they just decide not to. People like Paul in the Bible and Timothy were those who were committed to that. But there is a fourth group of people who, do not really want to marry. And I think this fourth group are those who are not ready to marry because of fear. They are afraid of what marriage entails. I was reading a statistics in a newspaper where they said that, I think 30% of people who get married just get divorced. It's like 3/10 of, married people just divorce. And when people see some of these statistics, it becomes a challenge to get married. They wonder, what am I getting myself into? Or maybe some marriages around them, they're not what they enjoy to see. So, but if you are part of the fourth group, please, there is hope for you. Marriage, it can be enjoyed. All you need to do is to know how to find the right person and how to work out your relationship properly. And like I've always said, the greatest enemy of love is selfishness. It's not the devil, it's not what people could want to think about. If you find someone who can work with you selflessly, you can make it work. So I will go on a short break and I will be joined with two single ladies and they will share with us on this topic, single but content. Stay right there.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, we are an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlive.co.za for more information. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio. Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat. You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
Welcome back to Love and Relationship. Today, I'm joined here in the studio with two beautiful single ladies, and I believe they have a lot to share with us. Today, I have in the studio with me Tandy Radebe and Busisiwe Rabutata. Yes. Wow, that sounds like tongue somehow. But I'm happy to have you. You're welcome. Please, we will be discussing on this topic, single but content. So I would like to start with Tandy. Tandy, what will you describe as being single but content from your own point of view?
For me, that means you, as a single person, you're at a point where you don't require things or people to satisfy you as a person, because it takes more than just that for a person to be satisfied. And I think that's a mistake that we always make, is to look for things to make us content, to make us satisfied, when God created us to be such complex beings. What I've learned as a single person is that the minute you start looking at things and people to make you content, that's the more it's the more that void it gets deeper. But the minute you focus on purpose and building you as a person, that's where you find your satisfaction as a person. And I think that's how God intended it, that we shouldn't seek to find contentment in people or things, but in what He's created us to be and to do as people.
Okay, very interesting. And Pusisiwe, what will you say to that?
Single and contentment. Being happy with who you are in your own space, without anyone, without anything. knowing that you are okay without things like what Tandy just said, being okay, not allowing things and people to make you content, being happy by yourself, having the joy, the happiness, fun, or whatever it is by yourself, having peace by yourself in your own space. Yes, because I think even if you are not single or married or whatever, you still need to be single and content with yourself, happy with yourself. Yes.
So it's more like being complete.
Yes.
You know, you see, the challenge we have is that a lot of single people postpone their happiness till when they get married. They say, I will be happy when I get married, when I have children, when I have that. But what they don't understand is that happiness is not in marriage.
True.
Happiness is in who you are. And, you know, the
within
kind
you.
of relationship you build. You know, and
Yourself.
as a single person, you can still build good relationships.
Yeah.
You can build edifying relationships, you know, and you can still enjoy your life. So what we're trying to say today is that as a single person, people
Be
can
happy.
still be happy, they can still be
Yes.
contented, they can still be complete. And as
Yes.
long as you are a Christian, you know, the Bible has said we are complete in Christ.
Yes.
So, you know, it is Christ that completes us. So you can be complete, you can be happy, you can have fun and still enjoy life.
And still enjoy it.
Yeah,
Being single.
that's wonderful. So one doesn't get desperate and said, "Oh,
No, I
oh,
need marriage. I need
I
a
wish-
person.
yeah.
It starts from the little things. It starts from if you cannot even spend a day with yourself alone in the house, you wanna be watching TV, you just want people and things around you. You can't just sit with yourself and be happy with yourself. So that is where it starts. So if from there you know that you can't do that, then you have a problem already that you need to look into. Because if you always want friends, if you always
Somebody
want to
to
be on
make you
social
happy.
media, if you always want to be busy, but you can't be busy with self, then there's already a problem.
There's a problem there. So, you know, it is not looking up to someone to make you happy. You know, to be contented is not looking up to someone to make you happy. You see, a lot of people enter marriage, being married for many years, people enter marriage with the mindset that their spouse will make them happy. But you find out that your spouse is also looking for somebody to make him or her happy. So, I mean, you have to create this happiness. You have to generate it yourself. So, I mean, having said that, what ways do you think can help a single person to be content until marriage?
Oh, love yourself.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. Love yourself. Do what you love.
Okay.
Travel. I love traveling. So I travel. I love sitting by myself and just be alone. People think I'm is it an introvert?
Yeah.
And I'm not that. Like, I'm nowhere near that. It's just that I love being by myself. It does not pain me. It does not do anything to me. So just make things that make you happy. Build yourself up. Study. Work if you're working. Do whatever it is that makes you happy. You don't need things or people to make you happy. Just do whatever it is. Some other people might be prayer. I love traveling, so that is what for me. I just think sometimes that maybe if I was in a relationship or whatever or married, I wouldn't travel as much as I do right now, and for me that would be a problem.
Okay, Tandy, what ways do you think, from your own point of view?
Okay, I just want to start about something that Busi said, is that build yourself up. I think it's where it starts, where you don't expect somebody to come and fill these gaps that you have. Because a human being without purpose, there'll always be gaps. Because the purpose of God is supposed to fill in those gaps. So while you are single, the most important thing that will make you content is to find the purpose of God for your life.
Okay.
And find satisfaction in that and what you love doing, as Busi said. So so that means when the other person comes into your life, they are not there to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
They're just there to complement the person that you already found yourself to be, and whatever that you found that God wants you to do. So the journey becomes easier rather than you trying to find yourself in them or in what they do. So even when you look for that person in your life, you know that, okay, I'm here. And this, I'm satisfied in being me in this space, in what God has purposed me to be as a person. And so you find satisfaction in that. And I believe even when there are challenges in your marriage, you wouldn't be pointing fingers and say, but I expected him to do that. I expect him to do that. Because you already have your purpose there, and knowing that this is what I like doing and this is what fulfills me as a person, and not. So focusing on those things while you are single, I believe, is what makes you to be content.
Okay. And single and content, in you people's understanding, does it include abstaining from sex? I mean, sleeping alone during winter like this? I mean, because when we say single but content, you can stay alone in your apartment, like you say, travel, watch TV, but you're still doing what married people are doing. Is that still part of single but content?
No.
You know, I was talking to Tandy when we were coming here that, you know how Christians say, I'm waiting on the Lord, but they have a boyfriend, but they're waiting on the Lord. So I think it's one of those things that you're asking. So, but I think that is not it. So if you're saying you are single, especially if you're a Christian now, if you're saying you are single and content, it means that you are single, you are by yourself. So if you are single, you cannot be sleeping around and doing small everywhere.
What is small?
Doing small everywhere. So it's just being you growing in your own space. In that space, you are growing in that space without anyone. Because when a person comes in, they want attention, they want this, and you stop focusing on yourself. You start focusing on the other person.
That's the thing. Yes. That's really a key thing. Being single is now to focus on yourself. Work on yourself. And one of the things I advise people is this: you have to prepare for the marriage. Any successful marriage demands preparation. And the time you're single is a time to work on yourself. You know, get rid of those things that you know can destroy a relationship and build yourself. Focus on yourself. Because when you marry, according to the Bible, you're supposed to focus on pleasing your spouse, not yourself anymore. So, guys, you're single now. You can enjoy your life, but like we said, please don't include sex in the enjoyment. It's single but content. Because when you already start practicing what marriage people do, I mean, how do you want God to give you your partner? You've already involved yourself in this already. And you might even be with the wrong person.
True.
And I say to people, when you're trapped with the wrong person, the right person cannot find you. Or you can't find the right person because you're already engaged somewhere. So listeners, we will go on a short break. We will be back soon. Please stay right there.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
Brand Live.
No doubt. The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Brandlive.co.za.
Lunatic, 'cause I do what I want, and I get what I want when I want it. You know life can be so ordinary. Boy meets girl, they said, "Oh, make a baby."
Brandlive.co.za. You're listening to Brandlive.co.za.
Welcome back to Love and Relationship. We're still here talking about single but content. And I'm here with Tandy and Busisiwe for someone just joining us right now. We are speaking about single but content. We have talked about some, things that has to do with being single and content. And I have just two things we should discuss about. I would like to ask Tandy, what is your view of people who have a lifetime of being single and content? Before we started this, interaction, I was talking about celibacy, and because I believe there are still people out there who don't want to get married, and we have to encourage them, because you see, being single is not a crime.
It's not a sin.
Being single is it's a position which you've taken for a purpose. We had events in your church, a while ago,
Yes.
and we talk about being single and content. And one of the things I said was that, if you must be single as per a celibate for your lifetime, that means there is a service you want to dedicate your life to, because everyone in the Bible who was a kind of Enoch or a kind of a celibate had a service they dedicated their lives to. That's why I spoke about those group of people. So, but what will you think about a person who says, I'm not going to marry for the rest of my life, I just want to be single forever? What's your view on that?
Okay, that one is a bit tricky. But I think the most important thing first is the reasons why you want to remain single and content for the rest of your life. As young people, if we become content because of a situation, because somebody hurt me, because I was disappointed, then already that's a wrong foundation to be single and content, because it's based on pain and all these wrong things that God did not intend for us. And so it's very important to have the correct motive for being single. If you become like someone like Paul, who said, I'd rather be single and then I'll serve God. That's a good reason for someone to say, I'm going to be single and content for the rest of my life, because there is something that you're looking at that will at some point not make you to falter as a child of God. Because if you want to be single and content and only to find out that it's not your calling, it's not your path as a single person, then you are bound to doing small, as we said. and end up sleeping around when you're supposed to be serving God as a child of God, or living in marriage rather than wanting to be single for the wrong reasons. So it's important to understand that it's not for everyone.
It's not for
and
everyone.
Those who go to it in the fact that I'm going to be satisfied in this path that I'm taking, and in this thing, that the reason why I'm doing it, that will be enough for me. Because then if it's not enough, it will be a problem along the way. Then it's and as children of God, we are the light, we are the salt. So if we start now, we thought he was single, and then now he's doing other things, then it's a problem.
Okay, thank you very much. That is an interesting answer. For the sake of time, I want us to just look at the last thing we want to discuss. So I want to ask Busisiwe, what are the greatest concerns of a single person regarding marriage? I don't like using the word fear, but
concerns.
The things that challenge.
Okay, I think I'll make this personal. I think my greatest concern is spending the rest of my life. For me, the rest of my life is a very long time. So for me, that is just the one concern, like spending the rest of my life with this person. For me, already. So for me, that is I think that is, because I always say that to Tandy, that can you imagine the rest of my life? Like, that is a very long time. So,
but the thing is that maybe you might be looking at a picture that if you have to spend it with the wrong person, that's gonna be terrible. But if it's with the right person, it's like a paradise. It's something nice. It's something.
I think
great.
it's about me bringing a person into my space. You see, now for the rest of my life, because now I have these moments where it is just my time.
Yes.
You see, so now there is this person here for the rest of my life here. If I want to go to Zambia, I must. This person must tag along. Sometimes you just want to go on vacation alone, like leave Tandy behind and just go alone and have just be fun. Alone. Yeah. So, and another thing, I think for me it is, I've never really thought about other things besides that the rest of my life.
Yeah. And Tandy, what's your own concern? I mean,
me, I think the first reason is the reason why I attended your seminars last year. my consensus has always been marrying the wrong person. Understanding the seriousness of marriage and that covenant you would want to marry for the rest of your life. See, me, I'm on the opposite side of Busi, that I had that thing that once I'm in, it should be forever. So my stumbling block therefore was, Lord, I hope I don't choose the wrong person. It's the most, whether you'll get along with that person, whether they will accept you for who you are and not want to change you. So you think about those small things when you because they say marriage is after the wedding day, then you start to live with that person. Will they accept you for who you are? Will you get along in this very long path that you're gonna work together? So those are the main things that's clicking and
You know, right now, Pastor, I'm just thinking about something that I think we spoke about with Tandy and the other ladies the other day when we were talking about having a husband there and having someone. We're talking about contentment, actually living in your own space. That it's how hard is it going to be to have someone there who will be talking to you like every time? Like sometimes you just want a person who will be quiet and you are there and they're quiet and like I don't know. You understand? Like when you have grown and you are content with self, right? You also want a person who is like that, who is okay with their own space, who is okay with being quiet and.
Okay, I get what you're trying to say, but I believe, through our seminars and the programs we've had, you've been able to figure out some ways.
Yes.
Because for me, it's basically, like I said to single people, what are you looking for in a man? What are you looking for in a woman?
Yes.
It's basically connecting with the right motive, which I keep saying that character compatibility is the right motive to get married. So when you marry someone who's compatible with you, with your lifestyle, spiritually, and also with your vision, it's easy to go along together.
True.
And one of the best thing about marriage that can happen to a couple is to become friends. When you become friends, you enjoy the company of your spouse. You're not afraid of anything. You can be yourself, share your hearts together. So, listeners, we will be wrapping up here today. This is a very interesting discussion. I wish we had time to continue, but I want to thank my wonderful guests, Busisiwe and Tandy, for coming through. I hope maybe sometime in the future we will still continue chatting about this. So please contact me for more info about the show. Contact me on 078-255-4517 or send me a mail at livingasOneEvent.co.za. And also you can send us a mail on info@brandlife.co.za. Sorry, it's livingasOneEvent@gmail.com. I hope to connect with you again same time next week. Until then, God bless.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.